Story 1. The Principles of Life according to the ancients. Power should not be fully exercised, and happiness should not be fully enjoyed. The ancients often reminded us, happiness should not be fully enjoyed, meaning that we should never exhaust our good fortune, but always seek to replenish it. For when good fortune runs out, misfortune will follow. The wise men of old not only adhered to this principle but also strictly educated their children to practice it. Zhang Dinghua, a high-ranking scholar and military minister under the reign of Emperor Yongjing of the Qing dynasty, is a perfect example. Despite holding a prestigious position, he remained humble and understood the importance of proper conduct in relationships. He taught his children to live simply, to be content with what they had, and to place great value on virtue and moral character. His eldest son, Zhang Ruodai, excelled in the provincial and metropolitan exams and advanced to the palace's imperial examination. When his essay was presented to Emperor Yongjing, the phrase "goodness encourages others, excess leads to downfall, no deceit, no ignorance, only sincerity and truth," left a strong impression on the emperor. Yongjing remarked that the essay reflected the demeanor of the great ministers of the past and decided to confer the title of Tam Hoa, third place in the imperial examination, to Zhang Ruodai. Upon hearing that his son had achieved this prestigious title, Zhang Dinghua immediately sought an audience with the emperor. He requested that the emperor lower his son's title to Ni Jiab, second-tier scholar, out of concern that such a high position at a young age might be detrimental in the long term. Moved by Zhang Dinghua's sincerity and his well-reasoned argument, Emperor Yongjing eventually agreed to the request. Later, Zhang Ruodai lived up to his father's expectations. As a high-ranking official, he was always dedicated, humble, and maintained an upright demeanor, much like his father. The ancient wisdom, "one should not exhaust their power, nor fully enjoy their fortune," was deeply ingrained in both father and son and was practiced throughout their lives. This principle not only helped their family remain strong across generations, but also left a profound lesson for future generations. Greetings to all our dear viewers. Welcome to our series of wise and meaningful stories, where we preserve the profound lessons from ancient times. Through each story, we will explore the art of living and the delicate manners to navigate life. This is a journey that will take you back to the roots of wisdom, unlocking doors that lead to lasting success and happiness. We invite you to continue listening to the stories. Story 2. Why a gentleman does not compete with a small person. The ancients once said, "Not competing is the highest realm of human life." This philosophy, which has lasted for thousands of years, remains a valuable lesson. Let's explore it through two stories from the time of Confucius. Story: The Argumentative Student. Confucius had a student who was very competitive and often enjoyed arguing with others. One day, the student visited his teacher and encountered a strange visitor standing outside the house. The visitor, dressed in green and of a slender build, asked directly, "I've heard that you are a disciple of Confucius and must be very learned. I want to ask you, how many seasons are there in a year? If you answer correctly, I will bow to you. If not, you must bow to me." The student quickly replied, "There are 4 seasons in a year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter." To his surprise, the visitor disagreed. "Wrong. There are only 3 seasons in a year." The two of them began to argue passionately, prompting Confucius to step outside and intervene. The visitor then turned to Confucius and asked, "Great master, how many seasons are there in a year?" Confucius calmly responded, "There are 3 seasons in a year." The visitor, pleased with the answer, bowed to Confucius and left. The student was astonished and asked his teacher, "Master, clearly there are 4 seasons in a year, so why did you say there are only 3? Confucius replied slowly, that person is a transformed grasshopper. A grasshopper lives its whole life knowing only 3 seasons: spring, summer, and autumn. It doesn't understand winter. Arguing with such a person is pointless, for it will never lead to any resolution. Hearing this, the student suddenly understood, bowed in gratitude to Confucius, and from that moment on, he refrained from engaging in pointless arguments. Story: Nan Yuan and the Calculation of 3 by 8. Nan Yuan, the beloved disciple of Confucius, once passed by a fabric shop and saw a crowd engaged in a heated argument. A customer shouted loudly, "Clearly, 3 times 8 equals 23. Why are you asking me to pay 24 liang?" The shopkeeper insisted that he was right, but the customer refused to back down. Nan Yuan stepped forward and said, 3 times 8 equals 24, you are mistaken. The customer, furious, challenged Nan Yuan to take the matter to Confucius for arbitration. "If I am wrong, take my head. But if you are wrong, you must remove your official cap." Both of them went to Confucius. After hearing the entire story, Confucius slowly said, 3 times 8 equals 23. The customer is correct, and Nan Yuan is wrong. Nan Yuan, not daring to contradict his teacher, removed his official cap. He then asked Confucius, "Master, why did you say this? Is it true that 3 times 8 equals 23? Confucius smiled and replied, "If I had said 3 times 8 equals 24, the man would have lost the argument and might have even taken his own life due to his oath. But if you lose, you simply lose your cap. Which is more important, the life of a person or the loss of a cap?" Hearing this, Nan Yuan bowed his head, admitting his mistake, and acknowledged his lack of understanding, realizing he had failed to see the bigger picture. The wise sages have taught, a virtuous person does not engage in arguments. A person who argues is not virtuous. In life, small disputes often lead to discord, harming both the mind and body. The story reminds us that sometimes, letting go of being right for the sake of peace is the wisest choice. Laozi once wrote, "The way of the sage is to act without striving." Similarly, Zhang Guofan said, "Do not compete for fame with the gentleman. Do not compete for profit with the petty person. Do not compete with heaven and earth." Living in harmony with nature, maintaining calmness and tolerance, is the way of the wise. Arguments over trivial matters or petty benefits only create chaos and bring unnecessary troubles into our lives. In this sense, the true wisdom lies in choosing peace over conflict and understanding that not everything is worth fighting for. Story 3: Soft overcomes hard, gentle overcomes strong. Laozi, whose real name was Li Er, courtesy name Ba Yang, is the founder of Taoism and the author of the Tao Te Ching, a classic philosophical work. His life is surrounded by many legends, one of the most prominent being the story of his final lesson from his master, Zhong Tung. Zhong Tung was the one who taught Laozi the rituals of the Shang and Zhou dynasties when he was young. The complex rituals often made the young Li Er feel that life was difficult. Many years later, when Zhong Tung fell seriously ill, Laozi went to visit him. At the sickbed, the master asked Laozi, "Do I still have my tongue?" Laozi was surprised but replied, "Yes, you still have it." The master then asked, "Do I still have my teeth?" Laozi answered, "Master, your teeth have all fallen out." Zhong Tung nodded gently, smiled weakly, and said, "My tongue remains because it is soft, but my teeth have fallen out because they are hard. Remember this: soft overcomes hard, gentle overcomes strong." This was the final lesson his master gave before passing away. From this lesson, Laozi distilled the philosophy that he later included in the Tao Te Ching. Hardness is the way of death, softness is the way of life. Hardness is beneath, softness is above. Soft overcomes hard, the weak overcome the strong. Laozi emphasized that water, although soft and weak, can erode even the hardest rock. The philosophy of soft overcomes hard applies not only to nature but also to how humans should behave, living in harmony with the Tao and nature. A person who follows the flow of nature will reach a state of peace and tranquility. Story 4. A person who lives for the benefit of others will receive blessings. People in the past often said, "Goodness brings good rewards," meaning that doing good deeds brings blessings. This is not just a belief, but also the law of cause and effect in life. Tun Tugngeo, a renowned prime minister of the state of So during the spring and autumn period, left behind a story of kindness when he was young. One day, little Tugngeo returned home with a sad face and didn't even want to eat. Seeing this, his mother asked what was wrong. The boy burst into tears and said, "Mother, I saw a snake with 2 heads. I heard that whoever sees it will not live long. Fearing that others might also encounter danger, I killed it." Hearing this, his mother comforted him. "Don't worry. You have a kind heart, thinking of others like this. Surely, heaven will bless you." Indeed, later on, Tun Tugngeo not only avoided disaster but also achieved great success, becoming a renowned prime minister and leaving behind a lasting reputation. The ancients said, "Heaven's secrets cannot be revealed," emphasizing the mystery of the will of heaven. However, while the secrets of heaven are beyond human knowledge, the principles of heaven are moral guidelines passed down through the ages, emphasizing ethics and kindness. The principles of heaven encourage people to live selflessly, not pursuing personal gain, always thinking of others and acting with integrity. Lao Tzu once taught, "Man follows the earth follows the sky follows the Tao, and the Tao follows nature." However, today, greed and selfishness have led to the corruption of human morality. People fight against the heavens, the earth, and nature, resulting in painful consequences. They lament their fate without asking themselves if they are living in accordance with the principles of heaven. Life unfolds according to the law of cause and effect. Doing good will bring good rewards, and living for others will earn the favor of heaven. Acting against the principles of heaven not only causes suffering for oneself, but also destroys peace of mind. Therefore, always maintain kindness and live in harmony with nature to receive lasting blessings. Story 5. Using people like using wood. Don't throw away the whole tree because of one rotten spot. Since ancient times, the ancients have left profound lessons on how to assess people and use talent. These stories are not only memories, but also treasures of wisdom, helping us better understand the value of understanding and the art of utilizing people. Here is the translation of the text into English. One day, Duke Huan was inspecting the horse stables and asked the official in charge, "What is the hardest task here?" Before the official could answer, Guanzhong, a wise and talented prime minister, responded, "In my opinion, the hardest task is building a fence for the horses. If you start by choosing curved wood to make the first post, you will have to continue using curved wood. When the curved wood runs out, there will be no place for straight wood to be used. On the other hand, if you start with straight wood for the first post, then the curved wood will not be used at all." Guanzhong used the story of building the fence as a metaphor for using people. He emphasized, choosing the right person is the hardest. If you choose the wrong person at the start, the petty people will promote other petty people, leading to the elimination of the virtuous ones. On the contrary, if the first person chosen is virtuous, he will know how to find other virtuous people to build the organization. Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty once said, "By using a good person, other good people will follow." By using a bad person, other bad people will follow. The secret to the success of an organization or country lies in the art of utilizing talent. The leader must be upright and wise, like the first straight piece of wood in the fence. Only then can the organization grow strong and prosperous. The ancients concluded, no one is perfect, no one is flawless. Therefore, we should focus on each person's strengths and place them in the right positions. A fine horse can overcome danger, but plowing fields is better done by an ox. A large boat can carry heavy loads across rivers, while a cart cannot replace it. Each person has their own unique talents. Recognizing and utilizing the right person for the right task is the key to success. Focus on strengths, overlook weaknesses, and place individuals in the right roles to maximize their potential. Story 6. Misunderstanding is easy, but true understanding is difficult. Mao Yi and Qing Jun were two famous gentlemen during the Eastern Han Dynasty, praised for their loyalty, integrity, and exemplary conduct in their local community. The story of these two highlights that it is easy to misunderstand someone, but truly understanding a person is much more difficult. The story of Mao Yi. Zhang Bang, a man from Nanyang, had long admired the reputation of Mao Yi, a famous gentleman from Luojiang known for his integrity and virtuous conduct. Eager to witness his talent and virtue firsthand, Zhang Bang traveled a great distance to Luojiang to pay his respects. Upon arrival, Zhang Bang found that Mao Yi had just received an official appointment to become the county magistrate of Anyang. Instead of being humble, Mao Yi appeared visibly happy about the news. His joyful reaction disappointed Zhang Bang, who began to think that Mao Yi was no different from others who pursued fame and profit, contrary to the image he had admired. Disheartened, Zhang Bang immediately took his leave and had no desire to meet Mao Yi again. Several years later, when Mao Yi's mother fell seriously ill, he resigned from his post and decided to return home to take care of her in her final years. Despite the emperor's attempts to retain him and offer a promotion to a higher position, Mao Yi firmly declined. He believed that filial duty towards his elderly mother was the most sacred responsibility and could not be overshadowed by fame or official rank. Upon hearing this story, Zhang Bang was deeply moved and felt ashamed. He realized that he had misunderstood Mao Yi and exclaimed, "Back then, Mao Yi took the position not for fame or profit, but to earn money to care for his mother. The heart of a true gentleman is something a worldly person like me can hardly fathom." The story of Qing Jun. Qing Jun's elder brother, a minor official in the county, often accepted bribes and helped others take shortcuts. Despite Qing Jun's repeated efforts to advise him, his brother refused to listen. Eventually, Qing Jun left home and worked as a laborer, bringing all his earnings back to his brother. He said, "Money can be earned again once it's gone, but if you are caught embezzling, our entire family will fall into misfortune." The sincerity of Qing Jun's words and actions deeply moved his brother, who then became upright and honest. Later, Qing Jun rose to the position of the chancellor, but he voluntarily resigned and returned home to live simply with his brother. Emperor Zhang of the Han Dynasty greatly respected the integrity of both Mao Yi and Qing Jun, awarding them generous rewards and sending envoys to visit them every year. After learning their stories, Zhang Bang, who had once misunderstood them, often chastised himself, saying, "Misunderstanding someone is easy, but truly understanding them is difficult." This video brings meaningful lessons from ancient times, helping you understand the value of life and deep philosophy. We hope you find joy and inspiration in every moment. Enjoy the video and make it beneficial. Story 7. The Wise Man's Way. Cultivating the inner self brings outer peace. The great sages of ancient times, from wise rulers to talented leaders, all understood that internal stability is the foundation for solving external problems. Jiang, a remarkable figure in Chinese history, exemplified the philosophy of cultivating the inner self, and the outside will naturally be peaceful. This means that when a person knows how to cultivate their inner self, uphold morality, live calmly, and harmonize with themselves, external issues such as relationships, work, or life challenges will naturally become stable and easier to resolve. After King Wu of Zhou pacified the Shang dynasty, he granted the territory of Dongwu in the Qi kingdom to Jiang to govern. When receiving the order to take up the post, Jiang did not rush to the area but traveled leisurely, taking breaks along the way and maintaining a calm and relaxed spirit. At an inn, some people heard that Jiang had been appointed to govern the land and wondered. The right opportunity is hard to come by but easy to lose. Why is this guest taking it so easy? Does he truly value the position he's been given? Upon hearing this, Jiang immediately set off and traveled through the night, arriving at Dongwu early the next morning. Upon his arrival, he faced a challenging situation. The state of Lai, a vassal state near the border, was attacking to seize the land. The state of Lai took advantage of the chaos after the fall of the Shang and the instability of the Zhou dynasty to expand its territory. However, instead of rushing to prepare for war, Jiang focused on the fundamentals first. He understood that for long-term victory, the most important thing was to stabilize the economy and win the hearts of the people. Therefore, he implemented the following measures. 1. Reforming the administration, establishing clear laws that aligned with the local customs. 2. Developing the economy, reviving the fishing and salt-making industries, two key strengths of the region. 3. Restoring rituals, helping the people feel secure and connected to the country. Thanks to these measures, in a short period, the people of the Qi state completely submitted, transforming Qi from a small territory into a powerful nation. Once the people's hearts were secured, Qi became a solid foundation capable of dealing with any external threats. After King Qing of Zhou ascended to the throne, neighboring vassal states caused unrest, threatening the stability of the Zhou dynasty. Jiang was entrusted with the mission to lead the army and suppress the rebellions, securing the eastern border. Not only did he successfully pacify the vassal states, but he also expanded the territory and strengthened the position of the Qi state. Thanks to his wise leadership, Jiang transformed Qi into a powerful nation with great influence in the region. He lived to be over 100 years old, and after his passing, Qi continued to thrive and grow stronger for many generations. The philosophy of cultivating the inner self leads to external peace is not only a method of governance but also a life lesson. In Ming Xian Bao Jian, it is written, "A person with a calm heart finds peace even in a thatched cottage. With a settled mind, vegetables will smell sweet." Life's tasks become clear when the mind is still, and relationships become enduring when handled with care. This emphasizes that when facing difficulties, one must maintain inner calm, cultivate oneself, and focus on addressing the root causes of the problem. Only when the inner self is stable can one's actions in the outside world become wise and effective. In modern society, the philosophy of cultivating the inner self leads to external peace still holds its value. For both individuals and organizations to develop sustainably, they need to focus on internal stability before facing external challenges. As demonstrated by Quang Tu Na, only when the people's hearts are one, the economy is stable, and moral values are strengthened, can a country stand strong in the face of adversity. This principle applies not only to national leadership but also to business management and personal life. Story 8. The more knowledgeable, the more humble. Throughout history, virtuous and honorable individuals have always upheld humility and acted with integrity. They do not flaunt their talents or try to impress others because they understand that true talent, like pearls, is valuable yet hidden, only shining at the right time and in the right place. On the contrary, those who boast about their abilities often face calamity, as seen in the story of Yang Tu and Cao Cao. The story of Yang Tu. Yang Tu was a strategist of Cao Cao, known for his talent, but in the end, he was killed by Cao Cao. The reason for his death was that Yang Tu boasted too much about his intellect. Once, Cao Cao ordered the construction of a large gate at the chancellor's residence and wrote the character Hua, active, on it. Yang Tu quickly understood the meaning, assuming that Cao Cao was criticizing the gate for being too wide, so he ordered it to be altered. On another occasion, when Cao Cao read an inscription that said, Huang Quan, young woman, grandson spouse, Yang Tu immediately interpreted it as follows. Huang Quan, colored silk, represents the character Tue, extinct. Young woman, a maiden, represents the character Miao, wonderful. Grandson spouse, daughter's son, represents the character Hao, good. Spice container represents the character Tsu, compassion. This means Tue Miao Hao Tsu. Cao Cao became increasingly jealous of Yang Tu due to his superior intellect. During a military campaign, Cao Cao used the command Ji Lu, chicken bone, to indicate a difficult situation, not knowing whether to advance or retreat. Yang Tu, without authorization, interpreted the command and ordered the entire army to retreat, which enraged Cao Cao. As a result, Cao Cao ordered Yang Tu's execution for disrupting the morale of the army. If Yang Tu had maintained humility and refrained from showcasing his intelligence in front of Cao Cao, he might have avoided the disaster that led to his death. The story of Vo Duc and patience. In a remote area, a large and strong middle-aged man was being beaten by a group of thugs. Despite being injured to the point of bleeding from his nose and mouth, he did not resist or avoid the blows. Bystanders thought he was foolish, but an elderly man approached and recognized that the man was a famous martial artist who had once won the martial arts championship. The elderly man asked in surprise, "With your skills, why don't you fight back against them?" The man calmly replied, "Those who practice martial arts follow the principles of Vo Duc. If I strike, I could kill someone. Fighting with these thugs who don't know martial arts would only soil my hands." This story reminds one of Han Xian, one of the most outstanding generals of the Han dynasty. When he was young, Han Xian was humiliated by a thug and was forced to crawl under his legs to avoid a fight. Han Xian endured the humiliation because he did not want to harm an innocent person. Later, he became a great general and played a significant role in the founding of the Han dynasty. There is an old saying, "Those with great wisdom often appear foolish." People with high intellect do not boast about their talents, live humbly, and act with caution. The story of a mad monk during the Song dynasty also exemplifies this principle. The mad monk once used his wisdom to mock Qin Hui, a treacherous minister who caused the death of the loyal minister Yu Fei. Though considered mad by many, he was actually a person of great insight, acting to defend justice and show his respect for Yu Fei. In contrast, Qin Hui, a self-satisfied and scheming figure, would be cursed by people for generations to come. Those who are short-sighted only seek immediate, trivial gains, while those with great wisdom look beyond the present, using their intellect to create lasting benefits for society. These stories remind us that boasting or acting without control can lead to great consequences, whereas humility and patience pave the way to lasting success. Story 9. To build a great career, one must be humble. Arrogance leads to downfall. Throughout history, those who have built great careers have always possessed the virtue of humility. This not only helped them gain support from others, but also protected them from the failures caused by arrogance. Zhao Xia, a famous general during the Warring States period, is a prime example of this truth. At the end of the Warring States period, the state of Qin was growing stronger and frequently expanded its territory by attacking neighboring states. In 270 BC, Qin sent 200,000 troops to attack the state of Han and besiege the state of Zhao. In this critical situation, the state of Han requested help from Zhao. King Huiwen of Zhao immediately ordered the famous general Zhao Xia to lead 50,000 soldiers to assist. Zhao Xia was not only a skilled general but also known for his humility and caution. He frequently sought to learn, listened to the opinions of his subordinates, and continuously studied military strategy. These virtues helped him achieve a resounding victory in the campaign to rescue the state of Han. While discussing strategies, a soldier named Su Su requested to meet Zhao Xia and said, "Our army's advance has surprised the Qin forces, but they are known for their many devious schemes. They may attack before we are fully prepared. I ask that the general proceed with caution." Zhao Xia listened carefully and immediately ordered his troops to strengthen their defenses. Indeed, that night, General Wu Sheng of the Qin army attempted a surprise attack, but thanks to the preparations, Zhao Xia's forces launched a vigorous counterattack, forcing the Qin army to retreat in defeat. The next day, Su Su again sought Zhao Xia's counsel. In military strategy, it is said that whoever occupies advantageous terrain will have the upper hand. The Qin forces have not yet secured the northern mountain, the highest and most strategic position. If we occupy this location, we will gain a significant advantage in the battle. When Zhao Xia returned, King Zhao Huiwen praised his achievements and appointed him as Ma Fujun, a position equal to the famous generals like Lan Xianru and Lian Fa. However, Zhao Xia humbly replied, "The credit belongs to the officers and soldiers who fought together as one, and especially to the soldier Su Su, who made two excellent suggestions. Without their help, I would not have been able to defeat the Qin army." Zhao Xia is a perfect example of how humility can lead to success in leadership. Listening to subordinates, if Zhao Xia had not humbly listened to Su Su's suggestions, he might have been caught off guard by the Qin army and suffered a devastating defeat. Not being arrogant about achievements, when praised and rewarded, Zhao Xia did not take all the credit for himself. Instead, he recommended Su Su for recognition, which further increased the trust and respect from King Zhao Huiwen. His actions reflect the wisdom of great leaders who recognize the contributions of others and understand that success is often built through collaboration and humility. The ancient saying, "Great wisdom appears as foolishness," refers to how those with great intelligence often exhibit humility and modesty. Humility is a true sign of wisdom, allowing individuals to learn from others and grow. Zhao Xia proved that humility is not only a valuable virtue but also a decisive factor in achieving great success. It was his humility and exceptional leadership that helped him become a renowned general, respected by future generations and remembered in history. Story 10. Why the ancients teach illness comes through the mouth, disaster comes from the mouth. The ancients often reminded us that illness comes through the mouth, disaster comes from the mouth. This not only refers to eating and drinking but also emphasizes the great power of words, which can either bring blessings or misfortune. Speaking carelessly or immorally can lead to the loss of good fortune and create verbal karma, resulting in serious consequences. Trukai Sen, a man from ancient times, was notorious for using his words to mock, fabricate, and hurt others. He would often mock and fabricate. When meeting ugly people, he would laugh at them. When meeting beautiful people, he would make crude jokes. When meeting the poor, he would look down on them. when meeting the rich, he would feel jealous and slander them. Distort the truth. When encountering wasteful people, he would praise them. When meeting dishonest and treacherous people, he would call them noble. Satirize ethics. When meeting those who did good deeds, he would mock them. He even went so far as to ridicule and insult people who discussed Buddhism or Confucianism. Truk-Kai-Sen's behavior reflected how harmful and dangerous words could be when used carelessly, as they could destroy relationships and spread negativity. His story is a reminder that illness comes through the mouth, disaster comes from the mouth. Words, when misused, can lead to harm, and a lack of restraint in speech often brings consequences. This lifestyle gradually accumulated into what is known as mouth karma. Later, Truk-Kai-Sen developed a severe case of tongue disease. Every day, he endured intense pain, and his tongue had to be pricked to bleed in order to alleviate the discomfort. Eventually, he died because his tongue shrank to the point where he could no longer speak. The story of Truk-Kai-Sen serves as a testament to the old saying, "Words arise from the heart, words reflect the soul." Speaking words of malice, deceit, or mockery can harm one's blessings. Mouth karma. This is the most common form of karma. Every day, a person may not commit any major evil acts, but careless or deliberate words can lead to significant loss of blessings. People who frequently speak immoral words, complain, or spread rumors will find their lives filled with obstacles and misfortune. The harm caused by their words not only affects others, but also destroys themselves. Buddhist teachings emphasize that mouth karma is the heaviest type of karma because it not only causes suffering for others, but also brings long-term consequences for the person speaking. A wise person knows how to preserve oral morality and is always mindful of their words. Speak the truth, avoid fabrication and distortion. Speak gently, words that are easy to hear and do not cause harm. Speak kindly, help spread positive energy. Oral morality is like a good magnetic field in the universe, bringing blessings to those who maintain sincerity and humility in their speech. The ancients taught that in all things, one should always leave space for others and for oneself. Words should not be spoken to the full, leave 3 parts of space, keep moral speech, and avoid causing harm. Criticism should not be excessive, leave 3 parts of tolerance, avoid damaging relationships. Demanding justice should not be excessive, leave 3 parts of humility, showing nobility. Rightfulness should not be excessively strict, leave 3 parts of forbearance, showing tolerance. Talent should not be overly displayed, leave 3 parts of inner depth, maintaining purity and self-respect. Story 11. Everyone is allowed to fail many times, as long as they don't give up. Before becoming a globally famous author, Rowling's life was far from easy. After graduating, she had to take on unstable jobs and struggle to get by each day. She went through a failed marriage, became a single mother, and lived on social welfare. She once fell into severe depression, feeling like a complete failure. While raising her young child, Rowling began writing the first draft of Harry Potter on an old typewriter. However, her manuscript was rejected up to 12 times by publishers. Many even believed her story was unsuitable and had no chance of success. But Rowling did not give up. She kept submitting her manuscript, and eventually, a small publisher agreed to release the first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Within a few years, the series became a global phenomenon, turning Rowling into one of the wealthiest and most influential authors in history. J.K. Rowling's story shows that failure is just a chapter in life, not the entire book. Remember, every dream is worth pursuing, as long as you don't give up. The courage to keep going is your greatest strength. Never let early failures discourage you, because success may be waiting just ahead. Each failure is a valuable lesson. Don't worry about falling, stand up and keep moving forward. As long as you don't give up, every door can be opened. Story 12. Living positively is as simple as looking up. The story of the hawk. If you place a hawk in a cage measuring about 2 m times 1.2 m times 1.5 m without a roof, the bird will never fly out, even though it is perfectly capable of doing so. The reason lies in the hawk's flight habits. It always needs a runway of 3 to 4 meters to take off. Without that runway, the hawk will give up and settle for life in the small cage, even though the way out is right above its head. The story of the bat. Bats are agile and impressive creatures in flight. However, if placed on a flat surface, they become completely helpless. They cannot take off from a flat surface and can only shuffle around awkwardly until they find some small elevation. With just a slight incline, they will launch themselves into the air like a flash of lightning. The story of the bumblebee. If a bumblebee is placed in a large, lidless cup, it will try to escape through the sides or the bottom. Even though the way out is right above, it won't realize it. The bee clings to its old way of thinking, trying to escape where there is no exit until it exhausts itself and self-destructs. Like the hawk, the bat, and the bumblebee, we sometimes get trapped in old ways of thinking and acting, struggling with challenges and despair. Often, the way out might be very close. All it takes is a shift in perspective, looking up, and seeking a new solution. In life, when you feel stuck, try looking up and changing your perspective. The solution might be right in front of you, but you may not see it because you're too focused on looking down or around. Old habits or rigid ways of thinking often limit us. Learn to adapt, shift your mindset, and try new approaches. Remember, looking back may bring sadness, looking around may cause worry, but looking up will give you hope and a positive spirit to move forward. When all doors seem closed, look up, because the sky is never locked. No matter the circumstances, always aim higher, look farther, and believe that every challenge has a way out if you keep striving and hoping. Story 13. Between people, too much closeness can lead to resentment. Relationships between people are like a string. If pulled too tight, it will snap. If too loose, it loses its purpose. Sometimes, excessive closeness makes relationships more prone to cracks. Today, two people might share everything, even wear the same pair of pants. But tomorrow, a small conflict could lead to estrangement, avoiding each other altogether. The reason lies in excessive closeness, which leads to overly high expectations. When one side fails to meet those expectations, disappointment and resentment arise. Therefore, maintaining a little distance in relationships helps make them more enduring. Distance is necessary. No matter how close a relationship is, it requires a moderate distance to allow both sides their own space and preserve mutual respect. Avoid overtalking. Unnecessary words or excessive conversations can easily lead to misunderstandings. Even within families, between spouses or parents and children, maintaining a respectful distance helps uphold mutual regard. Don't set unrealistic expectations. When you expect too much from others, you're more likely to feel disappointed when they don't meet those expectations. This creates pressure and damages the relationship. Treat others with forgiveness and gratitude instead of demands. Learn to be grateful. Gratitude is the foundation of a strong relationship. Whether with a spouse, friends, or colleagues, without gratitude, relationships can easily turn into debts where people focus only on flaws and forget the good things. Maintain respect. Show respect to the other person, whether they are a teacher, friend, or spouse. Respect doesn't mean being distant, it means understanding and valuing each other's dignity. Relationships between people are an art. Keep them a little distant, a little gentle, and show more gratitude. Only then can closeness be long-lasting and sustainable. Don't let closeness become a burden. Let relationships bring joy, not pressure. Story 14, rejected in an interview but succeeded through perseverance. A female graduate in finance and accounting applied for a position at a foreign company. Initially, she was rejected outright because the company prioritized candidates with extensive work experience. However, she didn't give up and sincerely requested a chance to prove herself in the professional skills test round. After scoring exceptionally high in the written test, she advanced to the direct interview round. The HR manager was impressed with her but still had to reject her due to her lack of experience compared to other candidates. Before leaving, she politely thanked the interviewer and, to everyone's surprise, took out a $5 bill, handed it over with both hands, and said, "Please use this money to call me, even if I'm not selected, just to let me know what I need to improve." The manager was stunned by her action. When asked for her reasoning, she replied, "The company isn't obligated to call unsuccessful candidates. This is a cost I'm willing to pay to gain a valuable lesson for my future." The manager smiled, returned the money, and said, "You don't need to wait any longer. We officially accept you. You can start next week." Persistence despite rejection. Although she was rejected initially, the graduate didn't lose heart and kept trying. Her perseverance demonstrated a professional attitude and a refusal to give up easily. Attitude matters more than experience. She displayed a progressive mindset, sincerity, and a willingness to improve herself. These qualities made her stand out even against more experienced candidates. Character and qualities are priceless assets. Her fairness, sincerity, and creativity in problem-solving impressed the employer, proving that attitude outweighs skills. Learn from failure. Instead of viewing rejection as a failure, she saw it as an opportunity to learn and improve. This is a mindset everyone should strive to develop. Turning challenges into opportunities. Using a $5 bill as a symbolic knock on the door not only showcased her determination but also her creativity, leaving a lasting impression on the employer. Success doesn't come from a straight, smooth path, but from the ability to adapt and keep moving forward in the face of challenges. Be persistent, sincere, and eager to grow. When you embody these qualities, even tightly closed doors can be opened. Story 15, the more desires one has, the more chaotic the mind, and the greater the misfortune. When humans are born, they carry no material possessions, and when they depart, they cannot take anything with them. In Buddhist teachings, all material things are considered external to the self. However, during life's journey, many people are drawn into the trap of desire, boundless cravings that turn life into an endless cycle of pursuit and unease. Desire and mental chaos. Human desires encompass many aspects, from food and drink, fame and fortune, lust, to power and affection. If a person cannot learn to restrain their desires, their life will become a relentless journey of seeking satisfaction. However, such satisfaction is never lasting, and the more one pursues it, the more chaotic the mind becomes. Ancient wisdom on the harm of desire. 1. Luan, Han Dynasty. Just one unchecked thought of desire can lead to disastrous consequences. Lu An's teaching emphasizes that even a small, uncontrolled desire can result in unimaginable consequences. Desires in themselves are not inherently wrong, but without moderation, they can lead to misguided actions, causing significant harm not only to oneself, but also to those around them. 2. Han Fizi, Warring States Period. Those with many desires will have chaotic minds. Chaotic minds are influenced by wicked thoughts. Wicked thoughts lead to disorderly actions, and from there, calamities arise. According to Confucius, desire is the root cause of mental chaos. When desires grow too strong, people easily lose their clarity and allow wicked thoughts to control their actions. This leads to a chain of poor decisions and misguided actions, ultimately resulting in unavoidable misfortunes. 3. Sima Guang, Song Dynasty. A virtuous person with excessive desires can easily lose their way. A greedy individual will lose everything, even to the point of complete ruin. Sima Guang highlights the dangers of desire, even for virtuous individuals. A virtuous person, if unable to control their desires, can be tempted by fame and fortune, leading them to lose their ideals and stray from their path. For the unscrupulous, excessive greed not only brings financial ruin but also destroys their honor and character. Stories of people losing themselves to desire are common in both history and modern life. Those who relentlessly pursue wealth, power, or pleasure often pay a steep price, ranging from losing inner peace to compromising their integrity and even their lives. Desire not only weakens one's willpower, but also turns people into slaves to their own cravings. They become easily manipulated, losing the ability to exercise self-control and make wise decisions. How to restrain desire. Understand the limits of material things. People often mistakenly believe that material possessions bring happiness. However, external things only provide temporary satisfaction. True happiness comes from knowing what is enough, and peace comes from not chasing after excess. Live simply and practice gratitude. Learn to appreciate what you already have and reduce unnecessary desires. Gratitude helps people find the true meaning of life, rather than being led astray by superficial temptations. Cultivate a calm mind. Without desire, one becomes strong is a noble spiritual state. When free of desire, people become upright and resilient, like sturdy pines and cypresses standing firm in storms. A calm mind allows one to remain rational and composed in any situation. Learn to let go. The ancients taught, the mind is burdened by what it pursues. Letting go of desires is the way to liberate the soul, allowing one to achieve true freedom. Those who chase fame and fortune often lose their integrity and inner peace. Desire weakens willpower and makes people vulnerable to traps and temptations. Desire is a natural part of being human, but without control, it becomes a heavy burden. Wise individuals live with gratitude, temper their desires, and maintain a calm mind, leading to a peaceful and happy life. As the ancients said, fewer desires, more freedom. Less pursuit, greater strength. In a world full of temptations, those who can let go of their desires will discover the true meaning of life. Thank you for following and listening to the meaningful insights shared today. If you find this content helpful and inspiring, please click to support and share it to spread the message to more people. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any valuable content in the future. We deeply appreciate your support and hope to continue bringing you more useful information. Wishing you a life filled with peace and happiness.